everyone, Maggie Braun here. I just took a minute and shared this out on a whole bunch of groups. So welcome. I haven't done an update in a while and just wanted to hop on here. There is a lot going on and looking forward to sharing some positive news out of Lethbridge as far as our advocacy work opposing the global agenda at the local level in our advocacy with municipal councils across Canada, and lots of updates about KICLEI and how you can get involved. There's a lot of easy things that you can do that will help perpetuate this, and wanted to take some time with that with all of you. So I see that there's a few people on. I'll just check the comments now and then. If you have any questions, feel free to put that in the comments, and I'm looking forward to engaging with you a bit today. So I wanted to start off by saying there's, I think most people who are on my page following also are following what's happening in British Columbia with the ostrich farm and the government over the next couple of days saying that they are going in and calling 400 ostriches, and there's a call out for people to go to Edgewood, BC, to the Universal Ostrich Farm and help raise awareness there, and also just to be on the ground to support those farmers and farmers in general and draw attention to this issue. So it's great to see people across the country doing posts about this, sharing posts. And I just realized that that is kind of front and center in most of our minds this week. And at the same time, I have some really positive news to share. So I don't want to take any attention away from what is happening in Edgewood, BC. It's really important, but I also thought, we also want to show what some positive things that are happening across the country too. And I don't want to delay this update because the KICLEI initiative is proving to be one of the main initiatives across Canada that is getting positive results. So as much as there's a lot of negative going on, there's also positive things happening, and we want to keep an eye on that so we can inspire others to get involved. So we're going to be talking about Lethbridge and potentially some other communities as well today, and I'll show you some stuff that's happening there and give an update on KICLEI and our membership and how we're organizing going forward and how you can get involved. So with that, I think I will also just kind of, as we're waiting for more people to hop on, give maybe a little update about what's going on with me. I know everyone on my page has been so supportive, and I truly love my Facebook family on here, and most of you have subscribed to my newsletters on Substack, which is just a great way for me to share information with everyone. So I've been really bouncing between Facebook as my main spot where I connect with some great people across the country, so many of you, and appreciate the community that we've formed here on Facebook. And moving forward, the main updates that I do, as many of you know, are on the Substack. So I'm hoping that most of you can, and I'll put up my little banner for that, can subscribe to the KICLEI Substack. That is the one that is designed as reports to municipal councillors. We have about 4,000 municipal councillors subscribed to that Substack. So the ones that are not, what I'm encouraging people to do is subscribe to the KICLEI Substack and forward those reports to your local councillors. So get their emails, and as you see the KICLEI reports coming into your inbox, have your councillors' emails ready so that you can forward our reports to them, because it is making a difference. And I'm going to show you that with the example from Lethbridge. And then we also have the Gather 2030 Substack. That one is designed for sharing local updates, what it is that groups and individuals are doing across the country that is proving to be effective, in particular with addressing things happening at the local level, but also we sometimes look at provincial and federal initiatives too. But that one is more for inspiration and, again, sharing positive things that we can do that will make a difference. So that's Gather 2030. And if you subscribe for one, you will automatically be subscribed for the other. And just a little heads up, if you want to upgrade that subscription, and I really would appreciate it if you are able to do that, to upgrade, the upgrade will go to will allow you to comment on the posts and get access to special recordings of our more private strategy calls and stuff like that. But there's other ways that you can access that information, but that's one of the best ways, is to upgrade your subscriptions on the Substack. So with that, I will get into what happened in Lethbridge, and then we'll kind of give a report on our membership. So I'm going to share a little bit about what happened in Lethbridge, and then we're going to watch the video of Lethbridge Council this last week and what they've done. So last year, my understanding is that people who have been following the KICLEI initiative work, been inspired by that, they went in and did delegations to their council and pointed out that they had signed up for programs through the Federation of Canadian Municipalities that aligned them with an organization called KICLEI. And of course, we're KICLEI, we're kicking KICLEI out. And from there, I believe that information kind of settled and the seed was planted. And along with that, their council and their staff have been receiving the KICLEI reports, right? They're subscribed to our newsletter. They're getting this information. And what the staff did at the beginning of this month in Lethbridge is brought forward a report to that council. So the City of Lethbridge originally signed up for the Partners for Climate Protection program. This is the FCM and KICLEI's main net zero program that's collecting all of our data and setting reduction targets and redirecting funds and administration to basically implement the United Nations agenda or the global agenda. So the City of Lethbridge signed up for this program several years back, and they kind of on a whim, not really on a whim, set reduction targets to 40% by 2030 and net zero by 2050. And where do these numbers come from, right? When we look at the Partners for Climate Protection program, that comes directly off of their website. So they are recommending a 40% reduction by 2030 and net zero by 2050. So they're taking the recommendation from the Partners for Climate Protection program. Now, at that time, the staff had recommended that the reduction target be set to 20%. And in the council meeting, one of the councillors basically just said, well, why don't we just be ambitious and go for 40%? So they did it. They did it with no cost calculation, no understanding of what that even meant on paper for their community. And since that time, they've had municipal plan after municipal plan put in front of their councillors, supposedly coming from the staff, but we know that it's coming from KICLEI through the FCM to the staff. The staff are localizing that municipal plan and putting it in front of the councils with all these recommendations and aligning the local council with the UN agenda. So that's interesting. It's part of the problem with these programs is it starts to influence municipal plans. So years have gone by, and again, last year, locals went in and did delegations and pointed this out. Then at the beginning of this year, the staff again put forward a report and they asked for a reduction in this CO2 target because it isn't just theoretical. It actually has consequences in how the council plans and the staff plan. So the staff in Lethbridge laid out 4 options and they said, okay, option A is 40% reduction, no changes to the reduction target. And in order to get there, we can only do so much as far as infrastructure upgrades go. So, here's what we physically can do in our community to reduce our energy consumption. And, that equates to about $20 million in upgrades. Okay. But that only gets us to 20% of reductions. The rest will have to come from purchasing carbon credits. And in the carbon credits themselves would raise the cost from $20 million to $83 million. So the City of Lethbridge, in order to get a 40% reduction in greenhouse gas emissions, just for their municipal operations, not even the community, would be an additional $63 million, right? So and exchanging that money for literally nothing but a carbon credit piece of paper. And this is what we need to share with councillors all across the country, is that this 40% reduction target that pretty much almost all municipalities that have signed up for a climate action plan have set a 40% reduction target. In order to actually get there, they have to redirect millions of dollars for carbon credit pieces of paper for nothing, for literally nothing being invested into their community. So the staff did a great job. They laid it out. They said, okay, option A, 40% reduction, $83 million, $63 million of that is for carbon credits. Option B was kind of a mix of infrastructure projects and some carbon credits, and wouldn't quite get them to a 40% reduction, but a bit less. Option C was essentially infrastructure projects with no carbon credits whatsoever, and that would be, I think, $20 million in order to do that. And then option D was business as usual, and that was just basic upgrades that they were already planning on doing, and would be 17% reduction and about $17 million. So, and those are projects that they already planned on doing. Like, hey, as our light bulbs are needing upgrading, we're going to switch to different, more energy efficient light bulbs. Okay, that's fine. We're not opposed to that. So we learned so much from this example from Lethbridge. And what we find with the work at KICLEI and the people doing this, what we are finding, and I always knew that this would be the case, is that we present information. We draw attention to the fact that they are signed up for this program and that we have concerns, we have questions. And then we come in a supportive role to the staff and the councils and kind of nudge them to start asking questions themselves. And as they do, the cards fall on this entire program because of the fact that it is based on layers and layers of misrepresentations of municipal responsibilities, of science and pollution, of what net zero even is and what these programs are and how much these programs cost. Because remember, the Partners for Climate Protection program, they say that it is free to participate. But as soon as they set those reduction targets, obviously it is not free. As soon as they sign up and they start collecting our data and they start ordering new smart city technology in order to gather this data, none of that is free. So So all of this is kind of built on lies, and that's what we're doing, is pointing out the obvious and bringing common sense back and reminding our counselors and the staff that they can withdraw from these programs. They're completely voluntary. The Paris Accord was signed at the federal level, and municipalities were not signatories to it. So in order for the UN to get down into our local councils so that they can cipher money and introduce policies at the local level, the council needs to sign up for something like the Partners for Climate Protection program. And that's what they did. So the staff made these recommendations in Lethbridge, gave them the options, recommended option C, which is not quite business as usual, a few extra things that they would do, and basically a 20% reduction for $20 million, and asked them to rescind that 40% reduction and replace it with a 20% reduction. So we had this month, about 15 days ago, residents kind of saw this was on their agenda. They were watching their agenda and they're like, oh my gosh, we need to go in and do something. And they decided, even though they weren't fully ready for it, that they would call their group together and that they would go in and say something, right? And that's what they did. They went in, and one after the other, they showed this council that there were serious concerns with this program. And then I did an article on that. I can, I'll put it up for everyone to see. And I did a couple of articles on that and shared that video out, and worked with them behind the scenes to kind of, what are the next steps? You know, the meeting that just happened was on May 13th, and they were not allowed to delegate at that meeting. And basically what they did is send a whole bunch of letters in about various aspects of our concerns. And they did a great job with that. And you'll see in the video when we watch it, it made a difference. So ultimately the council accepted the staff's recommendation and reduced the reduction target to something that was more in line with business as usual, and just really set an example for the rest of the country that will be very useful for us to use moving forward. So I do recommend you do subscribe to the KICLEI newsletter, because as I write reports about this, you're going to want to share those reports with your local council and get them thinking about doing something similar. Because at the end of the day, it is the local council who can choose at any time to do exactly what Lethbridge is doing, and at the very least reduce the reduction target to something more in line with reality that doesn't redirect a whole bunch of funds away from local priorities. And ultimately, we want them to withdraw from the Partners for Climate Protection program, or if they're doing climate action plans with consultants, we want them to seriously reconsider the reduction targets and their participation in these programs once they see kind of where this is going and what these programs are all about. So with that, I'm going to share the video from Lethbridge now and watch it together with you. And you're going to see, like, at the end of the day, this battle against the United Nations, it's taking place in municipal councils, and municipal councils are generally considered to be fairly boring. So this is a really great example of, how councils and staff use words and, black and white, and that those words have significant meaning, and that they're under the guise, like they sound really boring, but at the end of the day, they're actually really important. And once you start to kind of tune into what's happening at that local level and learn how to use our communication skills effectively, and to hone in on these motions to join these programs and these reduction targets, and learn how to make recommendations in words that can undo kind of the spell that's being cast on our councils. it really is a strategy that is effective and is working. So I'm going to present my screen here. And we're at the City of Lethbridge, and I think I have it at the right spot. Let me make sure you can all see that. Good. Okay. So again, bear with us. This sounds boring, but it's very significant. So here we go.
And 4.4.3, recommendations of Governance Standing Policy Committee, CC 27, monuments policy update. Be it resolved, the City Council approve the amended policy CC 27, monuments, as provided in attachment 1. 4.4.4, recommendation from Assets and Infrastructure Standing Policy Committee, Partners for Climate Change, CHG. Be it resolved that City Council rescind a portion of the May 9th, 2020 below direction by deleting 40% and replacing with 20%. Therefore, be it resolved that Council adopt a resolution of 20% of the 2018 total corporate emissions of greenhouse gases by the year 2030. Approve option C as outlined in the recommendations and options analysis section of this report. And number 3, direct administration return to City Council through the Economic and Finance Standing Policy Committee for approval of any of the objectives identified in Partners for Climate Protection, option C, as follows. Capital projects to be submitted to future capital improvement programs and deliberations. Initiatives requiring operating budget changes to be submitted to future operating budget deliberations. Direct administration to return to City Council through the Governance Standing Policy Committee for approval of any policy implementation or changes to approve of any of the objectives identified in Partners for Climate Protection, option C. And further be resolved, the City Council provide first reading to the following bylaw, 4.5.1, bylaw 6488, Community Requirements Appeal Board. So open up to questions, and I do have the first one to Madam City Clerk, 4.4.4, the recommendation from Assets and Infrastructure Standing Policy Committee, Partners for Climate Protection, CHG. I would like to postpone or...
Postpone if you don't want any new information.
No information.
Refer if you want admin to add any new information.
Yes, because I want to know more about this. I haven't had enough time to go through, and I've received some different questions and comments from the community, and I just don't feel comfortable at this time voting on this. So I'd like to be able to put this, I guess, postpone for 2 weeks.
So I'm just going to pause it there and just kind of share what's happening here. So they've just started the meeting and they're going through their consent agenda. So these are kind of motions that have been done in committees throughout the last couple of weeks, and they're coming forward to council and in a consent agenda, which means that they can approve all of it all at once. They can approve it all at once, but they can also pull items from it to discuss. And as you can see, he's saying that he would like to pull this one and postpone it for a future meeting because he's receiving information from the community and he has more questions about it. So this is a direct result of the people in Lethbridge that have been putting forward, that have done delegations there and putting forward really good communication through email to their councillors as well, and raising even more concerns about the program. So that's just where we are, and now we'll watch the rest.
Now, if we're going to get information from administration, I still use postpone. Refer.
Correct. But you'd have to state what information you'd like administration to bring back. And I don't know if 2 weeks would be enough for them to bring it back.
Correct.
If you want new information that's not in the report.
So to a future meeting. Okay. Well, first of all, I want to, is the resolution be no later than maybe? And I should turn to our administration. Again, I don't know the exact questions because I haven't really dug deep enough into this. So I don't have anything specific to ask you, but I do want to sit down with a few folks and get a better understanding of what this encompasses. And I'm just wondering if my colleagues or if there's
It
any
just really
comfort level
shows
with
that
and everyone's ready to
counselors
vote,
across the
I guess if I'm the
country
only one, I
don't
understand,
know
but-
what this program really is.
All right, so Councillor Schmidt-Rempel.
So a couple of things from the consent agenda that a couple observations and then a couple of process questions, if I might. The city council meeting from April 29th, 2025, for item 14.4, I was marked as absent, but I wasn't absent. I was here. I had a perceived conflict of interest. So if that could please be corrected and reflected in there. My perceived conflict of interest is noted, but I'm just marked as absent. So if we could get that corrected. Next question is on our status of directed resolutions. We've got the downtown bike lane reports listed as twice as coming back to assets
I'll
and
skip
infrastructure.
forward. I just
We've
don't want
had
to
a
miss
report back in
anything.
2025, and now we have it listed as a report coming back in 2026. We have assets and infrastructure summer 2025 downtown bike lane usage. We've had that report now. So assets and infrastructure received that report. And then we also have an update on the downtown bike lane usage listed for.
So it,
knows that this is happening and they can submit their name.
Okay, thank you very much. And then one final question with 4.4.2 and 4.4.4, are we out of order with our procedure bylaw section
4.4 is
178?
PCP.
Because there is no notice of motion to rescind the portions that we're asking for. So I just had a question if we're out of order on that.
For rescinding, 178 applies to members of council, 179 applies to administration, and 179 says the city manager may request that council revisit a motion from a previous meeting by submitting a written report. So that is our mechanism, reports.
Okay.
Official business motions and notice of motions are council's mechanisms, but if you'd like more time, you can postpone it.
Okay. Okay. No, I was just following up to make sure that we weren't out of order with our procedure manual. Or
so that's a really important procedural aspect to this work and very interesting. So the staff can at any time put forward a report that will ask the council to revisit a previous decision from way back if they want, right? So usually there's a bit of a timeline that council can revisit things, but if staff is recommending it, they do that through a report. Whereas if the council would like to revisit it, they would have to do a notice of motion and then it gets added to the agenda, like they did in the city of Thorold, where Councillor Hanley had to first put forward a notice of motion to withdraw from the Partners for Climate Protection program. We see here that it is the staff that have put forward a report that is asking for a reduction in the greenhouse gas emission reduction targets. Okay, so a little bit more here.
with our procedure bylaw. And that this is the city manager's report that requests that revisiting of the notice of motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Middleton Hope.
Thank you, Your Worship. In regards to 4.4.4, I cede to your need to review the material and to refer this motion to a later date. I'm ready to deal with it today. And so I would not be in a position to want to move it forward, but if others on council need to, by all means.
And as I look around here, if there's not the appetite, and I'm seeing that a majority want to vote on this, then, you know, if I maybe the same result here in 2 weeks anyways. And so I'm fine. I would like to, would it go to a vote to postpone it?
That's correct. If there's
Okay.
a postponement request that takes precedence, so you can put that on the floor, there'd be a vote.
All
Just
right.
simple majority.
Okay, so 4.4.4, a motion to postpone this 2 weeks. So that's not getting any additional information, being able to see the information that is certainly there and be able to look through that.
So he wants more time to
Understand.
review
So
what
sorry?
residents in
No additional
Lethbridge
information.
have been sharing
Well,
and to meet
as I
with
review it,
people
I could
in
ask questions.
Lethbridge.
And this is what I was asking of Madam City Clerk. If there's questions that I have, that could be changed at the next meeting then, I would imagine, right? When it comes back. If we postponed it, then it could, yeah. So it's a mechanism there. It'll come back in 2 weeks, and if there's any changes, I can ask those at that time. All right, so we'll put that to the vote as far as postponing for 2 weeks. All in favor? And those opposed? I guess we're moving forward. All right.
So what's happened there, just so everyone is following, is the council voted to deal with it today instead of postponing it. So now they're going to get into the discussion about that. And I wanted to share this aspect because it goes to show that it does make a difference. The fact that the residents in Lethbridge did delegations and then sent a whole bunch of great new information to their council, and that the mayor here would be receptive to that and say he'd like to meet with some folks and go over this, and he has questions, and he would like a bit more time to look at this, is a really it goes to show that this strategy does work, and it does create dialogue between the people and their elected representatives. And at the end of the day, we're going to get a positive result here. So we'll just keep watching and go from there. A little bit longer here.
So going back to the, I say adoption of agenda, the consent agenda from Acting Mayor Palladino. If there's no further questions. Yeah, I was going back to question, and so I would like to pull 4.4.4 and vote on it separately.
And Mayor Hagan, if I can add, those two rescinding motions that Councillor Schmidt-Rempel mentioned, they do need 2/3.
2/3.
2/3.
Okay. All right. So as 4.4.4 is removed, but now do we have to vote on those separate then? Because we're voting on the whole agenda as a consent agenda. We just, it's not going to be able to move forward if it doesn't. Okay. Has to be unanimous anyways. All right. So let's go back with 4.4.4 removed. And so we're voting on the consent agenda as you have in your package, with the exception of 4.4.4 that's been removed. So as amended. So Acting Mayor Palladino.
So now they're just approving everything else
All right.
in the consent
Question has been
agenda.
called. All in favor?
And then they'll get into the
And
discussion
opposed?
about the Partners for Climate Protection Program.
All right, although we don't have it written up to put on the screen, 4.4.4 can be what we've read out first. And so with that, I being that the one that pulled it, I want to have a better understanding. More information is always, to me, much more important than having less. And so for that reason, I did want to postpone this. However, I think I see the way that this is going to go. So if there's any questions on 4.4.4, Councillor Middleton-Hope.
Yep, just a question to administration. In the documentation, you have proposed option D, business as usual. Is that correct, Mr. City Manager? C, sorry. C?
I'll look to the team to speak to that, Ms. Parker.
Let's have a look here.
So we were
So the
advocating for
recommendation that we proposed was
option D.
option C,
Yep.
which was the 20% reduction.
And option D?
Option D is business as usual.
Okay, so you're not proposing option D then?
That's not the one that we've recommended.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions? All right, I think I pretty much gave my opening to why. I just want to receive more information, or sorry, I wanted to go through the information and bring it back at a later date. But with that, we'll call the vote. Oh,
So
sorry.
he was hoping to encourage more discussion here.
Just option C. Like it was first presented, yes. So, So again, if you vote in favor of this, you're voting for option C.
So this is a big
Right.
deal, guys. I know it just
All
sounds
those in
like
favor? And opposed?
so the staff recommended
Does carry. Thank you.
we move from 40% reduction to 20% reduction, which is pretty close to business as usual, and essentially saved the city $63 million in purchasing of carbon credits, and setting a precedent for the rest of the country. You know, there's over 500 municipalities signed up for the Partners for Climate Protection program. Most of them have a 40% reduction target, and most of them have not looked at these options of what it will actually cost to get a 40% reduction by 2030. And what are the options between that and business as usual, and really costing out this program and what it means. So with KICLEI, we're really big about giving the information to our councils, supporting them, and understanding that at the end of the day, it's the councils who will make these decisions, and our job is to get information in front of them. So that's what we've been doing, and we see there that
Okay, moving along here, we do have
that they had residents there even for this meeting, and you could see them get up and walk out after that was taking place. So the council knows that people are watching them and paying attention. And at the local level, the level of engagement has been so low for so long that when we start directing our energy to our local council, when we start showing up and communicating with them and sharing information and sharing our concerns, it makes a big difference. So I'm recommending so many different ways that you can get involved and support this. Obviously, signing up for our newsletters, being inspired by the Gather 2030 newsletter, signing up for the KICLEI newsletter, sharing that with your local councilors, really, taking some time, maybe finding the emails for all the councilors in your surrounding area from different municipalities and making sure that they're getting this information. If you do sit down and do a list like that, I know we have counselors that are signed up for the Partners for Climate Protection program specifically, but a lot of them are not. They're doing it through consultants, so we don't necessarily have their emails on our radar, or ones that are generally part of the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, which is aligned with KICLEI and the United Nations and running most of their programs. So if you do sit down and get a list of emails for counselors, feel free to send it to me at info@kiclei.ca, and I will send a welcome letter to them and invite them to the KICLEI newsletter and make sure that they're getting the information directly. But it's always better if it's coming from a resident or somebody in their area. The other thing that you can do is fill out our Join Us form. It only takes 30 seconds to do that. And we have about 10,000 people subscribed to our newsletters, but only 500 have done the Join Us form. So when we're looking at Canada and this huge country, and we want to actually organize groups locally, and we only need like 2 to 5 people in each municipality to really, or county, to really run this and get it off the ground, we still need to know where everyone is. So if you've been following this work and you haven't done the Join Us form, it makes it really hard to contact you when somebody in your community really wants to take initiative and say, hey, I'm going to go to council. I've been watching the agenda. This is on there. Can you come support, sit in the back while I go in and throw this down, because they're moving ahead with one of these action items, and we need to be on it. If we want to oppose the global agenda in our community, we need to get in there today. We can't pull your groups together if I don't have your Join Us form information. The other thing that you can do when you go to the council meetings is you can pick up some of our merchandise. So the councilors already are starting to know what KICLEI is. I'm quite sure a lot of them know. I get emails from mainstream news outlets now asking to do interviews and saying that they are interviewing counselors and they have concerns about KICLEI. And I'm thinking, you have concerns about KICLEI, but you have never once raised a concern about this international net zero program that is influencing our local council meetings. Like, where is your level of scrutiny about them? You're going to, internationally funded by Google organizations like KICLEI, no scrutiny, no public awareness. And then we come along and be like, hey, who's KICLEI? And they want to scrutinize us anyway. So many counselors know about KICLEI now. So if you even just show up at your council meeting with like a KICLEI shirt on, or, have your little notebook in one of our KICLEI tote bags, that will create some awareness in your council, and it'll also get them to sit up a little straighter and start questioning things a little bit more, knowing that there's people in their community that are going to help professionally kind of come alongside them and support them if they step up and start asking questions about these top-down programs that are being presented to them almost constantly in their meetings. Yeah, so you can wear our merchandise that's on the site there under merch. So we also have nice little mugs. I just got my mug. I had wanted to do this for a long time. The KICLEI mug. I love it. It comes in all different sizes, and I of course got the biggest one for my morning coffee and tea, which is amazing. Yeah, along with that, obviously, if you can help support the movement through donations, it really goes a long way. We recently synced all of our members. So the paid subscribers on the newsletters were synced and upgraded on the other newsletter, so that they could have full access to the comment section and chat within Substack. And when I did that, I basically wiped all payments on both newsletters. So last year, and I was kind of counting on that to continue and grow. And now it's, raising awareness of the fact that people who had done paid subscriptions, that money might no longer be coming to me, and to kind of double check to re-upgrade. But at the same time, there's 10,000 people subscribed, receiving this information for free, using it. And if we could even get like half of those people to do a $5 a month donation, then we could get this 100% off the ground, pay for all of our software and our systems that we are having to use and expand as we grow this membership, and as well as the administrative support that we've hired to assist with this, so that I can get back to doing more of these lives and going to events and working on strategy with people across the country, instead of spending my time doing spreadsheets with members, which I love to do and I've learned how to do, and it's lots of fun, but it's better if I can pay somebody to do that. And then obviously there's more travel involved that I would like to do, but I'm kind of holding back a little bit because of the funding needs to get to a basically sustainable level. And obviously my time is well spent here to working behind the scenes, communicating with everyone. So that's where we're at with that, and all good, moving forward. And I'm not too worried about everything, because this is the kind of work that is satisfying, gets results, is appreciated, and in the long run is going to just improve our country and our communities in very meaningful ways. And I love to do it. So I'm just going to keep plugging away with that. And I will just share my screen a couple more times to give you an idea of some of the stuff that I shared today. So you can go and check it out after. There's links posted above to all of this. Let's start with this. So this is the article I did May 2nd about the City of Lethbridge, and you can check it out. And there is our main concerns with the Partners for Climate Protection program that came up in the meeting. I would encourage you to share this article with your councils if they are members of the PCP or have reduction targets. And we also clipped the video of all the delegations, so you can go and watch what they did in Lethbridge. This is an article from the Gather 2030 side. So it talks about Oxford County and what they've been able to do there, and how they really provided a blueprint for grassroots organization, and what the organizers did, and how ultimately at the end we've done our delegations, we've done our report, we've had a petition with 777 signatures. 130 people showed up for delegation day, and yeah, it all started with a local organizer going through their municipal plans and reports, wrapping their head around KICLEI and what our message is and our concerns with these programs. Started house meetings, pulled together a delegation committee, reviewed our code of conduct because it works, and started meeting with their counselors and doing info sessions and just preparing for a delegation day. So we've done some great work in Oxford County, and it's ongoing behind the scenes and communicating with the counselors there. A lot of them don't even know that they're signed up for this program. So like it really starts with that. They're denying that that Oxford County is participating in this program, even though we have the resolution and all the evidence. So, now we can kind of pull this information out and be like, look, guys, like your counselors don't even know that you're signed up for this program. So that's what KICLEI is all about. Here is our Join Us form. Here's a little drop down. It tells you all about becoming a member and different ways that you can get kind of networked into our system. And our Join Us form is right there for you to do. You can indicate if you're interested in volunteering and anything else you'd like to share, and submit that to us. You can subscribe. Oh, I'm sorry. Here's the Join Us form on KICLEI.ca. You just go to Join Us, and there is our form. Once again, here is the tab you can go to if you'd like to upgrade your subscription. Obviously, you can go free, but you can also do monthly, annually, or become a founding member. And founding members, once a month, we're going to do a draw, and I will send you your choice of merch, and we'll reach out to you at the end of the month if you have become a founding member for either KICLEI or Gather 2030. And this is where you would subscribe for Gather 2030 Substack. And again, same options and same end of month promo. And here is our merchandise page. Just going to go back. Hopefully you can see this here. We have t-shirts, sweaters, hoodies, hats, tote bags, bumper stickers, and mugs. So lots of fun there. And last but not least, I wanted to show you just the main page of KICLEI. There's some new tools here right now. Kind of our latest articles are posted there. We do have a pamphlet that has been updated. So all of our main points are there, and you can download that and share that at your local meetings in your community. We have a new tool. It's a CO₂ Context Calculator, and you can click on this, and I'm really hoping all of this is sharing. Yes, good. Okay, you can click on this, and it will take you to the KICLEI page and kind of explain what the calculator is. And if you would like to go through it, it lays out kind of what the calculator is based on, our stats and facts that we're using. And what we see in so many municipal plans now is something like, we want to reduce 400 tons of CO2 per year, and it's going to cost us $30 million. And we, you know, and that's basically what's in the report. But what's missing is, you know, what are their natural assets that are absorbing the CO2 already. And what we find here with, and so you can put all that information in and it'll start pumping out information down here. So they're about to spend, actually, I did that wrong. I was missing a zero. I don't know what I did wrong here. Oh, it's supposed to be 13. I see. So they want to spend 32, and this is for the Green Fleet Plan in Oxford County, $32,000 per ton of CO2 reduced. And even though that is already being absorbed by 5,000 mature trees in Canada, which equates to like a tiny, insignificant fraction of the 318 billion trees that we have in Canada. So, so you can use this calculator in critiquing municipal plans and reports. And I hope everyone could see that, because it's not asking me to switch screens. I have one more thing to show you. Okay, good. So our key targets are the FCM, especially if you're in a rural county, the Federation of Canadian Municipalities. We want our municipalities to consider withdrawing from that organization altogether. And if you're in the cities or in an area that has a climate action plan, you want to look into whether your council is participating in the Partners for Climate Protection program, or going through a consultant to move through the same 5 milestones of collecting data and setting the reduction targets and implementing these plans. Lastly, and there's lots of information if you click there. Lastly, there is a new tool that I've created. It is ChatGPT, and it is configured with all KICLEI's main arguments, links, main information, and basically you can go there and it's 24/7 support. You can research your municipal programs and plans and what global partnerships you're signed up for. It will help you draft emails, petitions, resolutions, delegation scripts. It will help you to organize local campaigns and outreach, and basically understand KICLEI's mission, our tools, and our council strategies. So you can click on that. If you don't have ChatGPT, if you're not already paying for ChatGPT, it will ask you to upgrade, because this is I think $20 a month plan, because this is a private chat or something like that. It is a specially considered chat. It is not like in the public domain. And in order to access somebody's private chat, you need to be subscribed to KICLEI or to, ChatGPT. So you can ask this anything. And just as an example, say we want to thank the, I'm going to share the transcript here of the Lethbridge meeting. Just trying to find where they started. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of start it from here. And I know that they went to about here. So all these words matter. Maybe they went a bit further. anyway, you could basically take this, right? Put it into here and say, write a letter to Lethbridge Council thanking them for reducing the greenhouse gas reduction target. Sorry, I can't type today. And then we're going to just paste in that information. And I'll say based on meeting transcript. And I did a colon there and I pasted in the transcript. I'm going to just see what that comes out with. See, it just knows all this information, right? Even what day it is. On behalf of KICLEI Canada and our growing network of citizens, councillors and communities standing for local governments, I want to thank you for your decision on May 13th to reduce Lethbridge's greenhouse gas reduction targets from 40% to 20% by 2030. Your leadership in revisiting this goal with honesty and fiscal responsibility is appreciated. And obviously a great draft of a letter that I can play around with, I can make better, but this is the kind of communication we need to start seeing go to our councils. So feel free to use the KICLEI ChatGPT option, and it will be part of the way that we communicate moving forward. And also to help you understand, what is a consent agenda? What's going on here, right? You can ask it, and it kind of has all that information available on and can teach us a lot. So I've appreciated that as a tool. So thank you for sticking with me, and I'm looking forward to, we have lots of Zoom meetings coming up at the end of the month. I think we have BC, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Ontario, Quebec, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, PEI, Newfoundland and Labrador, and then all the Northern Territories. Each of those have their own regional meetings, and you can subscribe to, you can register for those meetings, and you'll get updates about them, especially if you've done the Join Us form or if you've submitted a donation as well, or upgraded. Basically, if you've done anything to get into our network, you will start getting the special private registration links. And again, it really helps if we know where you're located so we can organize everyone. With that, thank you everyone for watching, and wishing everyone a great rest of your week and the weekend, and sending my love out to everyone who's on their way to the ostrich farm, and keep an eye on that. And I just wanted to share some good news with everyone about KICLEI's our mission and some successes that we're seeing across the country, and inspire you to take an interest in what's happening at your municipal level of government, because organizing there is very effective and satisfying if you're looking to invest your time and energy into something that will get results and move the needle and oppose the global agenda. Okay, thanks for watching, everyone. Have a great day.